From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Welcome back to Around Foxborough. My name is Julie Love. Thank you for joining us today. We have a wonderful guest. Her name is Maureen Barilaro, and she is here with us. She is an excellent designer, very eco-friendly, and we met at the Boston Green Fest in August, which was eco-friendly festival that featured several different artists, and one included called Eco Fashion Show, where Maureen was one of the featured designer. So let's welcome Maureen. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Great. So Maureen, tell us about who you are.
Okay, so I'm Maureen Barilaro, and I'm originally from North Attleboro, so in the neighborhood, and currently live in Somerville. And started, well, my background, I should say, is in video production, which is what we're doing here today, creating a TV production. So I've had my whole career in TV production, essentially. But more than 5 years ago, I had this idea for making these nightgowns. It basically started with looking in the mirror one day and seeing what I was wearing around the house to be comfortable. We're all from around here. We know what it's like. It's cold 6 months of the year, if not more than that. And a lot of women, I think, to feel comfortable, wear very casual, maybe very old, maybe very unattractive clothing to stay warm and comfortable around the house. And I know I'm not alone admitting that I did that. And a lot of women have confessed that they're dressing the same way. So I wanted to find a solution to that, basically to come up with something that felt comfortable as those old clothes my go-to were, but have it be more stylish, more feminine, more attractive, and also more eco-friendly. So I, for myself, love nightgowns, have a lot of nightgowns for summer and for warm weather, I guess. And I love vintage nightgowns, but come wintertime, all that stuff's put away and I don't see it again until summer. So I wanted that same feeling that I have when I put on those summer nightgowns in the winter. And when I went looking for winter nightgowns, I didn't find anything that I liked. And it was all what I call, made for grannies or lumberjills. So the sort of oversized, very long, not just certainly not for every age group of woman, I would say. Just an old-fashioned approach to design for a winter nightgown. And so I came up with an idea of something that I wanted, and I looked for it and I couldn't find it. And what I wanted was that same comfort of your old t-shirt, but just more feminine and attractive and fitted. For my body type, I have a very slender, slim body type. And so I don't want things that are very oversized and hanging off of me because it's not attractive. So I was looking for something that felt more like it fit my body type in particular. So I came up with my design. And when I went looking for it, of course, I didn't find anything that sort of fit the image that I have in my mind. So I guess, started to sort of really want this bad enough that I decided to take sewing lessons to learn how to make the image that I had in my mind of this perfect nightgown. So I found a pattern for something that was similar to what I was thinking, and through the sewing lessons started making this design for myself. And I loved it, and then just didn't stop with one idea. Then I had another idea and another idea, and I'm not that great at sewing, and it's enough for me to make my own nightgowns for myself, but it just started to really become an idea bigger than making this for myself. I felt like there was a need for this kind of clothing, that I wasn't alone looking for this. And so after a year of, I guess, sort of soul searching and thinking about it, I decided to, well, I guess it was January 1st of 2017, I decided to actually look into how I could start this business.
So what is your company's website name and the website? Can you share your name of the company and website, social media?
Yes. So the name of the company is I Love My 90, which wasn't the name that I came up with originally. It was hard to come up with a name, but I did. I started to say that I thought that I Love My 90 would be a great hashtag for social media, and then people were like, I really like that name. And even though I thought the name was a little too obvious, it also is very helpful that it's obvious, so that people know exactly what it is. And other names you come up with, it could just kind of be it could mean anything. So, and it's great for the vibe of the feeling. So I want that feeling to be right there. I want people to get it right away, that this is all about putting on something and wearing something that you love. And that's not just from the name, it's the whole, it's the fabric. So as I decided to develop this company and this brand, I knew that being a green company was a top priority for me. And the apparel industry is often quoted as being the second most polluting industry on the planet, behind the actual energy industry. And I wanted, as part of the business, to be a part of the growing trend, the modernization of the clothing industry and apparel industry, to start to focus more on how can we use more sustainable fabrics, how can we do production in a more eco-friendly, green, sustainable way. So I spent about 6 months researching fabric to find the perfect fabric. And that fabric to me meant it had to be luxuriously soft. So the idea of this I Love My 90 should be, you put this on and you're instantly sort of comforted and soothed by the clothing itself. And so that meant it has to be very soft and soothing to your skin. And I also wanted, ideally, if possible, for it to be the fibers to be grown in the USA and for the fabric to be produced in the USA. And that has to do with sort of the carbon footprint, what's the travel miles of the materials. So I did a lot of research, and what I ended up coming up with is Tencel. So that's the fabric that I use. I originally thought it would be organic cotton made in the USA, grown in the USA, I should say. But although it's a wonderful fabric, organic cotton, it's not as soft as I had wanted. And it's the price too, and you have to just look at the price of things as well when you're starting a business, and what people are going to be willing to pay for products like this. So Tencel is a natural botanic fiber from trees. It's developed from a company out of Austria, and it's grown and produced through maintained. There's a the Forest Stewardship Council is what we use in the USA. FSC as a way of showing that the management process of the forest is sustainable. So the Tencel comes from trees grown sustainably through managed forests in Europe and Asia, primarily from beech and eucalyptus trees. And Tencel is actually a brand name for a fiber known as lyocell or rayon. And the difference with Tencel is that they have tried to reduce the carbon footprint for the entire process, from the trees and the forest management and how the trees are cut and processed. And making fiber is a very chemical intensive process, no matter what fiber you're using, even organic cotton or anything like that. So there's different inputs of water and chemicals needed. So Tencel is produced with sort of the least amount of water and chemical processing that is available at this time. And they're a company that's striving to always get better, and their buildings are all green buildings, reusing energy and water and electricity. And so just the whole process of the fiber production is green and trustworthy for me to feel like I'm always going to get a consistently thoughtful product. So and the bonus was that it also is this luxuriously soft fabric that's perfect for sleepwear and loungewear. So I am very thrilled that I found that fabric.
We have video that you sent us, so let's watch the video.
Great.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Maureen.
You're
And
welcome.
tell us about how we met at the Boston Green Fest. How did you get involved with Boston Green Fest?
I had heard about it from other vendors, and for me, it's the people that I think go for my products the most are people who are interested in environmental issues and are thinking about it when it comes to making clothing purchases. So there's just not a lot out there if you're going to do a search for, organic sleepwear or sustainable sleepwear. made in USA. So, people who are looking for that will find me. So I just had my eyes open, and I had heard of Green Fest, and a friend of mine who was going to be vending there gave me the contact information, and I reached out and was accepted to participate.
And then how did the eco fashion show go?
That was great. That was so much fun. I haven't done a lot of fashion shows. There's a lot to it, and I've just been building my collection slowly as a new and emerging business. I didn't necessarily have a lot of clothes to put into a fashion show for what you would expect to see out of a fashion show. So it's nice that I've been able to, over the past year and a half, really add more to the collection and have more to make a more fun and entertaining fashion show. But it was great. There was I definitely enjoyed it. It was outside, which is unusual. It was a beautiful day. And I had a great cast of models, which was really exciting too. I had a very diverse cast or crew, a group of models, and I think everybody really had a good time, which is what it's all about. And it was a great response from the crowd that was there.
Yes, and then I am honored to be one of the model with my daughter.
Yes, it was so fun.
And the gown that I wore was super, super, super comfortable. And then
Yes.
I had to admit I wanted one for myself for the next. But how is your business going in terms of people getting it feedback, and then how your business going, especially during or after pandemic?
Yes, thank you. So COVID definitely threw a loop into the business, because I really had just launched in 2019, and I had launched as more of what I would call a soft launch, which was really just a test run to work with my manufacturing partner who was based in New York City. So, because I'm a new designer working with a manufacturer, there's a lot to learn there. And so I had produced a small amount of the clothing just to go through the process and learn it. And the other thing was, when you're designing the clothes and you're coming up with styles, you're making samples. And the samples are basically one size. So you're just perfecting it one sample at a time, but it's always the same size. So, you decide you want to change, what I'm wearing now. It has a hood, and, having the hood kind of the shape of the hood, having the hood like this one kind of pulls down, acts as like a little eye mask, to help block out the light when you're lounging around or sleeping. But just you change the size of that, and each sample you make a little change here and there. But when you go into production, suddenly you're making a range of sizes, but you've never actually seen those sizes before. So you have no idea how they fit people and in different sizes. So I wanted to make the sizes and then be getting people to try them on and be giving me feedback, so that then if I made a larger production run going forward, I would have a better idea of the things that needed to be changed, to, again, just make the design more effective and appealing. So I had done that early 2019 and made that and started to get the feedback. It was just starting to get out there and do in-person events, which is something I really liked, again, because I wanted that in-person feedback. And because it's something, jury, like, you got to feel it and try it on. And that makes such a huge difference from me just explaining it and seeing a picture of it on a website. It really helps when people can and touch it and try it on. So I had launched and then was just kind of getting out there. And then, COVID happened at the beginning of 2020. And I had a website, but I had never really pointed people to it, just because there wasn't much there. And I still was getting everything sorted out. So at the very beginning of COVID, I just sort of like kind of finished the website and then tried to figure out marketing and getting people to the website. And that's been very challenging because when you're a new brand and nobody's ever heard of you before, and even though this is the perfect clothing for people to wear during a pandemic, everybody was at home and looking for comfortable clothing. But aside from people that are in my own personal network, it's very challenging to get it out there, to be located by the general public just doing a Google search. There's a lot to figure out. So I spent a lot of time doing that. And this year, got back out there when you could. But again, it was like the in-person stuff was a challenge between, just being close with people again and being in the open and having those opportunities. But the exciting news for me is that one of the ideas that I had from the beginning was actually having my own store. And so that's actually coming to life, and that's going to happen next year sometime. I'm going to be opening a store along with my husband, who's an artist, but we have a storefront in Rockport, Massachusetts that we're going to open.
That is very exciting. I love Rockport.
Yes, thank you. I know it feels so perfect. We're so lucky that we came across this opportunity, and we're just going to try something new. We're both going to go for it and use these dreams that we've had for ourselves and see if we can make it work. We feel pretty confident. It's a great place, and we think we've got something that people will really enjoy when they're shopping.
Sure. And again, your website?
Yes, ilovemynighty.com. Everything is I Love My Nighty, NIGHTY. And yep, there's a great view of the website there, and you can see all the styles that I have available. So I've tried to come up with a rounded collection, different styles of nightgowns, but I've added a bra top, shorts, leggings, a pair of wide leg palazzo pants, a robe. So again, just sort of talking to people and the things that they're looking for to be comfortable, because I want the whole thing to be about this kind of soft, comfortable clothing that you look forward to all day when you're busy all day. And even if you're working from home, you might be wearing a certain kind of clothing when you're going to be on camera. For me, if I'm working at home, I wouldn't wear these clothes, because for me, it's the transition to be done with work. When I put on my nightgown or, my sleepwear, that means it's time to shut down from work. It's time to focus on myself. It's about self-care. It's about focusing and prioritizing sleep and rest, and that you can't just be on all day. You can't be thinking about work and your to-do lists. And so when you have something like this that you put on, it can help change your perspective and transition from that work and go and stress and all that to that now it's time for me to be comfortable and comforting and comforted and ready to sleep. So I love that there's I have these clothes waiting for me to get into when I get home at night.
Yes, I feel more and more that I need one. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate you sharing your vision and the background, how it started, and how it's going in the future. And I wish you all the best as a designer and as a visionary. And I really love how you said about self care. How your clothing design will help people to relax on and off. I really like that, and I love that you're eco-friendly, really aware and conscious of the environment in industry. So I appreciate it. So would you please give us your last word to the people who are watching around Foxborough?
Okay, well, I'm so happy to be an entrepreneur in Massachusetts, local business, and starting up and using my network to build this business, and very proud to be a Massachusetts-based designer and business owner. And as far as the self-care, I just wanted to reemphasize that. I'm glad that you appreciated that, and that I do wish that for everybody, that everybody will take the time to focus on their health and well-being. And the clothes is just one part of it, but I do encourage people to think about things like that, and whether if it's my clothes or anything else, but to wear something that you look and feel good and healthy in, even when you're in the comfort of home. It still matters how you look at yourself. And yes, just sending much love, peace, and good vibes to everybody out there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again for coming to Around Foxborough today. And thank you everyone for watching another episode of Around Foxborough. My name is Julie Love. I'm your host. We have executive producer, director, Michael Weber, and Paul Beck as a director at Foxboro Cable Access. Our website is fcatv.org. You can click on video on demand and watch all the episodes of Around Foxborough. See you next time.